right. Good Tuesday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, one has had a fantastic Tuesday so far. I am your meteorologist, Jesse Peterson, and let's go on and talk about the weather for your Tuesday evening going into your future. We have some stuff that we are going to talk about tonight. We have some stuff that we're going to talk about tonight. What is that stuff? What is that stuff, you may be asking? Obviously, you can see by the screen, this tropical system is taking a new trend that we need to watch, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the tropics. We're also going to talk about the current conditions, what's going on right now throughout the state. The weather for tonight, obviously, what's going to happen in our future. Severe weather threat, our really flash flood threat. And then just the increasing rain chances as we get into this weekend and even as the cold front passes us as well later this week. So we have a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about tonight. Is it going to be, one of those long 40, like a 40, 50-minute forecast update? No, but it's definitely still going to have a lot of information. If you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, make sure you go in and do so. It's free. You can change your mind at any time. We've had 7 people tune in so far, and we only have 2 likes. I don't know what the other 5 people are doing, especially since I see definitely more than 5 people inside the chat right now. So if you are a part of that 5 people, and especially if you're inside the chat and you have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. Go on and do so. It's free, and you can change your mind at any time. So now that that's out the way, let's go on and look at what's going on right now throughout the state. There is nothing going on right now throughout the state of South Carolina. But as we go on and scroll our way out, see what's going on throughout the entire U.S., we have rainfall that goes on from Florida over into Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, Maryland, West Virginia, Kentucky, and then also up here inside of Michigan, we have some rainfall up there. We also do have some rainfall in Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, going into Arkansas with some severe weather and flash flooding going on. Rainfall and severe weather also in Oklahoma and Texas, and even some rainfall over here in Colorado, Nebraska, and parts of the eastern Four Corners region inside of New Mexico and the panhandle of Oklahoma and Texas. Cloud cover right now, we do in fact have some cloud cover, especially up there inside the upstate, but it's relatively not too dense. Pretty clear, pretty light in terms of cloud cover right now. If we go even further into the future, you can see that cloud cover will start to move into the upstate a little bit more as we move into later tomorrow morning, and then you can see even there in the low country, for example, low country, PD, Grand Strand, yes, fog is coming back. Fog is coming back again tomorrow. And for the most part, it looks like that will be there until around like that 9-10 o'clock a.m. time frame. The fog will go away, but then we'll have some more cloud cover push in throughout the region as we get more into the daytime. Current temperatures right now, 77 in Columbia as well as 78 in Orangeburg, 77 in Summerville as well as 76 in Charleston, but Summerville. 75 in Charleston. Oh my goodness, I don't know why Charleston is on my mind right now, but Georgetown, 75. It's 76 inside of Charleston. It's 76 also inside of Murrells Inlet, and 76 also inside of Myrtle Beach, 74 in Conway, and even 77 in Florence, 78 over there inside of Hartsville. If you move up here towards the upstate, you have around 74 in Spartanburg, 75 in Greenville, even 77 in Clemson, 74 in Anderson, even 74 in Greenwood, York, and Rock Hill. Low temperatures for tonight, you're around 69 in Columbia, and even Sumter is at 69. Florence as well, Orangeburg, all these places. 68 also in Walterboro, as well as 69 still in Georgetown. 67 in Kingstree and Dillon and Cheraw, and even 67 inside of other areas surrounding Kingstree. 66 inside of Anderson and Greenville, Spartanburg, Rock Hill. 71 in Charleston and Myrtle Beach, and even 74 inside of Hilton Head Island. Now, for your rainfall for tonight, no rainfall is really expected until you get up there into the far, far upstate, right there along the border of Georgia and North Carolina. And again, that's 100th of an inch to a 10th of an inch, maybe even to a quarter of an inch. Quarter of an inch of rainfall is possible, as you might get some shower activity over there as you move into tonight going to tomorrow. And then, obviously, we'll talk about that all in the models and stuff like that. Crazy score for tonight. If you have no idea what the crazy score is, the score that we see how crazy the weather is inside of South Carolina. And right now we're at an 18 inside the mild category. Obviously, patchy fog being an issue as it is expected. Near calm winds and moist air mass favor patchy fog, especially in the coastal plains and the eastern Midlands, with visibilities from a quarter of an inch to an inch. Or actually not inch, that's a quarter mile to a mile. Instead of an inch, it's a mile. Dry conditions for the most part, and it's also going, and there's also no flood risk or anything like that. It's going to be mild but humid, and then a stable atmosphere for the most part. SPC outlook for tonight. Did they just release the new one? Of course they do it every single time. They do this to me every single night, to where they put the new one in right as I start, so I don't have time to go on and look at it before and get it loaded up. Because the same time I go live is the same time that they decide to update it. But here it is right here. The thunderstorm outlook for tonight. For the most part, there still is a little thunderstorm chance, apparently inside the low country and the Grand Strand area, even though I'm not really so sure that there's going to be the convection that's going to support it, meaning that I don't think any showers will even form. So the ingredients probably are there. And that's why I always say the ingredients are there for a thunderstorm, but will a thunderstorm actually even pop up in this region? That's a great question. But for now, it's looking like the ingredients definitely are there. Now, tomorrow, for Wednesday, September the 24th, thunderstorms definitely are possible inside of the upstate, as we definitely will have some convection up there. And then on Thursday, this is the big day that I've been talking about. Thursday being the big day. We've been talking about the severe weather ever since, I believe, I forgot what day it was exactly we started talking about the severe weather, but I believe it was that Sunday. It was either Sunday or Saturday. Or maybe Friday, actually. I think it may have been Friday. But, for the most part, severe weather is possible as we move into Thursday, September the 25th. It's only a marginal risk. It's a marginal risk, meaning that isolated severe weather is possible, but it's still an isolated chance, meaning that you still have to be paying attention for it. Now, the last time we've been under a chance for some severe weather, it's been a long time since we have been issued for any sort of severe weather, and Thursday will be our first day back. Thursday will be our first day back. It's not going to be strong or anything like that. We're not expecting any sort of, widespread damage, widespread power outages or anything like that. It's just an isolated risk, but things can change, and we've seen that before over and over again. And severe weather is not the only thing that we have to worry about either. It's also excessive rainfall. Look here, Thursday, same day, the upstate has an isolated risk for some flash flooding. Again, that goes from due west to Iva to Lawrence, Union, York, Rock Hill, Spartanburg, Greenville, Seneca, Clemson, Landrum. All these places have a marginal risk of excessive rainfall, meaning isolated flash flooding is definitely possible. Now, as we move into Friday is a whole new day, a whole new outlook. As you can see here, we have now a marginal risk of isolated flash flooding that now goes for pretty much the entire state, unless you're in eastern Charleston County going into the coastal Grand Strand area from Georgetown to Myrtle Beach to North Myrtle Beach, Garden City Beach, and North, even up there into just right along that South Carolina, North Carolina line. You don't have a risk for any sort of excessive rainfall, but that can change. Obviously, we're 4 days out. 4 days out, meaning that things will, like I said, change. Now, for Friday, this is what it is, and then for day 5, we're still not done. Here on Saturday, isolated flash flooding is indeed also going to be a problem. Again, that goes for Greenville to Spartanburg to York to Union, down all the way to Columbia to Camden to Florence to Myrtle Beach to Loreth. All these places have a chance for some isolated flash flooding as well. So, again, this is day 3 for the upstate. For Thursday, isolated flash flooding possible there. Day 4, this is Friday. Most of the state has a chance for some isolated flash flooding. And then day 5, which is obviously Saturday, most of the upstate, most of the Midlands, and even most of the PD and a good amount of the Grand Strand as well has a chance for some isolated flash flooding. Now, what about the models? Because obviously the models, that's going to show us a lot. Starting off here at 9 o'clock p.m., and I'm going to be honest, as we just go through tonight, you can see it's going to stay dry as we go through tonight. It's going to be a dry night that we kind of were expecting that. If you remember, if you just saw the crazy score earlier, I said it was going to be a dry night, and that seems to be exactly what the models here are depicting, meaning no rainfall. Now, as you go into tomorrow afternoon, because even as you go into tomorrow morning and early afternoon, you still are seeing some dry conditions. Even as you go to around 5, 6 p.m., I'm not seeing any sort of rainfall until we get to maybe around 5:36 p.m., somewhere around there. Showers start to get going maybe inside of the upstate, and you might even see some around 10, 11 to 12 o'clock in the morning going into our Thursday. But again, just something isolated, and those will have the chance to turn into a thunderstorm for sure as well, just because that thunderstorm activity, that thunderstorm environment is there. Now, as you move into the morning hours on Thursday, things seem to kind of start off relatively quiet. This is the day that we start to receive our severe weather. And you can see it's 2 p.m. You start to see some of that shower activity and that cold front move into the state. And you actually start to see kind of like the severe weather kind of behind it, as well. It's going to go over the mountains and then it's going to come down throughout the state. Now you can see it's not all compacted as one. It's not just one big line like sometimes we see. It is mainly set up almost like in a line still, but just like in chunks. And that's just because it's isolated. It's not going to be too widespread. And I just said that earlier when we were talking about the SPC outlook. It's going to be isolated. And so there might even be some people yet that might only just see like a little shower, while some people see some full-on 60-mile-per-hour wind gust that moves through their area. So it just matters on where you are, when it happens, and just how lucky or unlucky you are at that point. Now, as you move into September the 25th at around 8 p.m., as you go into the evening hours, you can see that severe weather will move its way out, but we're not done. Again, Friday, excessive rainfall, definitely a concern. On Friday going into Saturday, and then maybe even on Sunday as well. We'll see what Sunday has to bring. I mean, you're just seeing all of this active conditions going all the way through to Monday, all the way to the first day of October, which is all the way into Wednesday of next week, which is pretty much more than a week out. We're still seeing all this rainfall, and so this run right here particularly seems to be showing a more active side of the weather instead of a more quieter side like we've been seeing for a little bit now. Now, what about as we continue further into October? As we continue further into October, you start to see some of that shower activity and thunderstorm potentially going on throughout that coastal area. And then we start to see the coastal area start to get some more activity. But then things start to really dry off as you get into around like October, like the 4th, the 5th, the 6th. But as you can get past the 6th, you really can't go any further than that just because it's way too far out. Way too far out. That's 300 hours or so. But that's all that I wanted to say for the future. Obviously, we have some stuff going on. It's going to be active. Obviously, the cold front that's going to pass us soon on Thursday/Friday. That will bring us, which honestly, let me go ahead and check that as well, because if you remember yesterday when we checked, it had a more cooler and a more drier run than it had the day before. The day before that, which was on Sunday. Sunday, it showed just to be the area that we were watching for out there inside the tropics kind of push it back a little bit more. While then you had it more to the east yesterday, so that the cold front actually came in and actually produced that cold air, produced that dry air. So let's see what the run says for tonight. As we push this forward, you can see for sure the warm air there, but there goes the cold front. You can see it on the left side of the screen on September 26th, moving it forward even more. But then look at that tropical area is going to push that cold front back and not give it much time to really do anything. But luckily, after that area goes through, there's going to be another kind of like dip of cold air pushing through as we go into around like October the 3rd and the 4th. So even if we don't get any cool air from that cold front as it first passes us, which is looking kind of likely now, any cool and dry air, just due to this tropical moisture, there might be just some more relief on the way after it passes, and it looks to stay for a good little bit, though. We'll talk more about that, though, whenever we get there. But if you want to look at the anomalies in terms of temperatures, it definitely is still warmer than average because that tropical area that we're watching for is close enough to push that cold front and to kind of reduce its strength. But as we get, like I said, into around like October the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, things start to cool down, but things are still kind of warm until you get to around like October, like the 9th ish. And I mean, once you get toward like the nighttime hours, it definitely seems to cool down a little bit, but during the daytime, it still stays relatively above average. So, a lot of things to show there, a lot of things to digest there, but for the most part, it all depends on what that tropical system does out to sea. And that's a great question. What is that tropical system doing? But before we get to that, though, Gabrielle is still out here. It's a hurricane, 125 mile per hour winds now. It is still on a forecast to approach the Azores late on Thursday as a hurricane. Hurricane watch remains in effect for all of the islands of the Azores, and interest there should closely monitor Gabrielle's progress as hurricane conditions are possible later this week. Swells generated by Gabrielle will continue to affect Bermuda, the east coast of the United States, from North Carolina north, and Atlantic Canada during the next couple of days. These swells are likely to cause life-threatening surf and rip currents conditions. Please consult products from, obviously, the local weather offices. Now, as you move into tonight, you can see that we actually do, in fact, have a moderate risk of rip currents for tonight, even though it says North Carolina North, which, I'm not quite sure why it has that. But maybe these rip currents just aren't from Gabrielle. Maybe maybe it's from a different system right here. But for the most part, moderate risk of rip currents for tonight and even tomorrow as well. Tomorrow, we're still not going to be done with these rip currents, as we still have another moderate risk of rip currents for tomorrow. So we're not going to be done at all. So just make sure that you are paying attention to that if you are going to the beaches. As you go into now the other two areas that we're watching for, disturbance 1 first. This is the one with the 90% chance, the one that we've kind of just been keeping an eye on for a little bit longer than the other area. But for the most part, shower and thunderstorm activity associated with the tropical wave located about 750 miles east of the Leeward Islands has become better organized since yesterday. Environmental conditions are forecast to become favorable for further development, and a tropical depression is likely to form during the next couple of days, while the system moves west-northwest to northwest into the western tropical Atlantic, well north of the Leeward Islands. So this has a 70% chance of forming over the next 48 hours and a 90% chance of forming over the next 7 days. That will continue to, like it said, move its way to the north and west. And models right now for this one, if you go on and check actually what it looks like right now, this is what Invest 93L looks like right now. Right now, it just looks like a developing storm, just a developing hurricane at that point in time. If you go on, though, and check and see what the models are saying for it, though, this is the global hurricane models. This is the actual hurricane models themselves. Most of them have it curving. You have a couple of stragglers that go a bit more to the south, but for the most part, most of them curve. If you go to the GFS, same thing. Most of them are curving and going away from us, obviously. And then as you go into the GEPS, this one definitely has that curve set in stone and not really causing us too much of a concern either. So most of them are saying that it will curve. If you look at the model intensity guidance, which, let me see this. This is the one that was just updated just now, actually. This one, only has it getting around to around like a Cat 1. Only around a Cat 1. You have most of them actually just keeping this thing at a tropical storm and not really even getting to a Category 1 hurricane at all. That will change. We'll see what happens with this as we go into possibly tomorrow morning, but if not tomorrow morning, then tomorrow evening, back here again at 9 p.m. But this continues to stay most likely on the weaker side. One other one that you can look at as well is the euro. The euro is the one that we most likely look at the most of the time. But here's what the euro says right here. Pushing this forward, you can see, don't pay attention to this one down here on the left side. Pay attention to this one up here where my mouse is. As it pushes it forward, you can see for the most part that one curves its way out. And it just kind of just combines with this one, so you kind of lose track of it really quickly. But all of them pretty much are going out to sea before it even gets to South Carolina. So I'm not too concerned with this one. I'm not really too concerned with this one for right now. The one that I am definitely not concerned for yet, but maybe could be concerned for a little bit in the future, is the next area that's right next to it. If you go on and look at the tropical weather outlook for disturbance number 2, see it's a bit closer to South Carolina, but it says a tropical wave over the extreme northeastern Caribbean Sea. So I go on and just did that. Okay, Caribbean Sea continues to produce a large area of disorganized showers, thunderstorms, and gusty winds across much of the Windward and the Leeward Islands. This wave is expected to move west to northwest at 15 to 20 miles per hour, spreading heavy rainfall and gusty winds into Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands tonight and Wednesday, and then across the Dominican Republic beginning late on Wednesday. The system is then expected to slow down and actually turn northwest. So keep that in mind. The system is then expected, after it's moving west to northwest, it spreads that gusty wind and heavy rainfall into the Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands tonight and Wednesday. It is then expected to slow down and to turn even more northwest when it reaches the southwestern Atlantic in a couple of days. And you can kind of see it right here on the map. Environmental conditions are forecast to become more conducive for development late this week, and a tropical depression is likely to form while the disturbance is in the vicinity of the Bahamas. Interest in the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, the Turks, and the Caicos Islands, and the Bahamas should monitor the progress of this system because definitely could cause some impacts to them. Has a 30% chance of forming over the next 48 hours and a 70% chance over the next 7 days. And so, if you just happened to peek over at the Euro while I was kind of saying don't really look at this, focus on this one up here, you most likely saw what a good amount of the models were doing with this one. And as you go in and push it forward, you can see that a lot of them get, going a bit more to the north, going in that same area. But look at where the majority of them are going. You're not really seeing too much go out to sea with this one. With this one right here, you're seeing a lot of them go straight into that southeastern coast. And so that's why I said this new trend, this was not showing yesterday. If you go into my video yesterday, it showed a couple of stragglers, I believe, going over into South Carolina, but not like this. This is a lot more consistent towards the southeastern coast. Now, does this mean automatically panic? Start telling your neighbor and your cousin that, there's a hurricane coming or something like that? Absolutely not. This is just one model run. We're going to have to continue to wait and see what happens. Will this continue into tomorrow, or is this just an outlier? That's a great question. Obviously, this will not be the only model or ensemble that we look at, but for the most part, a lot of them make it either to Florida, to Georgia, to South Carolina, to North Carolina, and just anywhere in that vicinity. And also, one thing you also can look at is look at all the waves behind it as well. It means that even after these two, we're not done. We are not done after all. You have these waves right here, right behind it. Now, what about the other two? The other two models that we can look at, the GEPS and the GEFS, or just the, I guess you could say the GFS, same thing pretty much. And also the hurricane models as well. Here's the hurricane models right here. Hurricane models definitely has it going more to the north and going more away from South Carolina. You also have, a couple down here that kind of have it going a little bit more toward like the Bahamas, for example. And actually, this one is actually a lot more aligned with what the National Hurricane Center is saying. These ones out here, for the most part, if you compare it to this one and then also go to the actual map, it does show a bit more of that eastern side of the actual red shape that's there. But that's just the hurricane models. What about the other ones? You have the GEFS or the GFS. This one, again, same thing. Have it curving so much to the north and east and just not really making too much of a dent. But you can see it gets relatively strong, though. It gets relatively strong. The GEPS is the next one. The GEPS also has a couple of stragglers out here that could potentially bring something to us in terms of some sort of landfall over as we move into the next 100 to 200 hours or so. 100 to 200 hours out, but still shows it. But for the most part, the median still shows it going more to the north and east and away from us. And the intensity guidance actually has it staying around the tropical storm, maybe trying to get to that hurricane force. You have a couple that gets it to major hurricane status. But for the most part, it just seems to stay around that tropical storm to category 1-ish location area. But these obviously could be wrong. I mean, we saw Hurricane Aaron, for example. You know, models were saying category 2, category 3. It ended up being a category 5. So that's just what we're looking for there. And so for the most part, I believe that is about all that I have here for the tropics. So definitely, you need to be watching. You definitely need to be watching for that development that's out there. Just because anything can happen, especially with the weather. Anything can happen. For example, why is the euro so far to the north and east? You know, again, that's a great question. But obviously, I can't answer it because it's just its own individual model. You also do have the next hurricane names. Also, the next hurricane names, which most likely the one on the right will take Humberto, which would be the H name. And then you also have Imelda, which would be the second one, which could potentially be the one that will impact us. So those are the two next names that we have here on the list. And so that's all that I have for the tropics for tonight. Let's go on now and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Starting off with Mr. Chris first. He says, good evening, everyone. Hope your day was good. Please remember to go and hit the like button and the subscribe button. Also share this. Sharing. It is time to care. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. We've had 20 people tune in so far, and we only have 10 likes. I don't know what's going on there, but if you're a part of that 10 that have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. It's free. You can change your mind at any time. Actually, 9 has only hit the like button, so if you're part of the 11, go on and do so. Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. My Aunt Shirley says, good evening to all, hot and sunny in Raleigh. Blessings to all. Thank you so much for that, and good evening to you. Thank you also so much for that weather update. Mr. Kristen says, please be prepared, not scared. He's absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Never should be scared. You should always be prepared for the weather, and that's why I'm here. My cousin Cheryl then comes in and says, good evening, everyone. Hope all is well. All is well. Good evening to you. Thad says, good evening, cousin Joseph. I trust all is well. It was a beautiful day today in San Antonio. That's great to hear. Glad that it was a great day. He also says, I just need it to stay below 100 degrees. Well, for now, unfortunately, it's not going to be too far below 100, but it will stay out. So I will say that, I guess it technically does go in your range. We'll talk about that, though, when we get there. Let's see. Trail then says, greetings, everyone. Greetings to you. And then it was a hot day here. Yikes, it was a hot day. It was a pretty hot day. And then my Nana says, hello, Jay. It was a hot day. I made the best of the day. That's great to hear from you as well. And then my Aunt Lula then comes and says, good evening, everyone. In Georgetown, we had lots of rain today. Lots of rain today in Georgetown. Let me think about that real quick, because might be think. Oh, you might. Okay, I got it now. Okay, so I'm glad that you did get some rain today, though. I didn't quite remember. That forecast this morning only took me like 4 minutes, so I was trying to get through it. So honestly, I just was trying to remember, was there that chance of rainfall inside of the Grand Strand and PD area? Ethan is here. Hello to you. And then Mr. Chris is, hope we get by from the break. Hope we get the bye break from that storm coming. I'm not quite sure what you mean by the bye break, but if you go on and explain that to me, I will go on and then answer it or know what you're talking about. And then now, with all of that out of the way, with all of that out of the way, let's go on and talk about the 4 locations outside of South Carolina. Outside of South Carolina, that being San Antonio, Texas, going inside of Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, even Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about those 4 locations is because we have people from those areas who tune in almost every single night, close to every single night for the most part. I believe all 4 is here tonight, if I'm not mistaken. So let's go on and talk about them. Starting off with San Antonio first, you have low temperatures tonight at 78, high temperatures tomorrow at 95, and the low temperatures tomorrow night at 74. There is no precipitation that is expected at all tonight, and then there also is a chance of thunderstorms tomorrow. And then thunderstorms are likely as well tomorrow night as well. Now, severe weather for you. There is indeed a threat for some severe weather tomorrow. Isolated damaging wind gusts are possible as you go into tomorrow. Again, that is for San Antonio. 5% risk is there. And then for excessive rainfall also is inside the question as well, as you also have a good 5% risk for some excessive rainfall tomorrow as well. So isolated damaging wind gusts and isolated flash flooding is possible tomorrow in San Antonio. Now for Raleigh, North Carolina, you have low temperatures tonight at 67, high temperatures tomorrow at 91, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 70. There is no precipitation that is expected at this time, but precipitation definitely is coming. If we go in and talk about severe weather first, you do have a chance for some severe weather, obviously, on Thursday, the same day that South Carolina does, and that is for, most likely would be damaging winds, but we'll go on and get the exact specifics as we go into tomorrow night. Excessive rainfall, same thing for South Carolina as well, Friday and Saturday. Isolated flash flooding is indeed possible as you go into Friday and Saturday. And then Philadelphia being the 3rd location with low temperatures tonight at 66, high temperatures tomorrow at 83, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 68. Showers are likely tonight. No precipitation is expected tomorrow during the day, and then showers are likely tomorrow night as well. There is indeed a chance for some excessive rainfall tomorrow and even on Thursday. And now for severe weather, there is indeed also a threat for some severe weather on Thursday. Same thing with Raleigh, as you have most likely a damaging wind threat. We'll see if the tornado threat, if they get that out or anything like that, and what area along that line would it be for. But again, that'll be tomorrow. Duncan, Oklahoma being the last location with low temperatures tonight at 64, high temperatures tomorrow at 81, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 58. There is a chance of showers tonight, and there also is a slight chance of thunderstorms tomorrow. There also is no precipitation that is expected at all tomorrow night. And then, now as we go into severe weather, there is indeed no severe weather that is expected for you there either. And then for excessive rainfall, no excessive rainfall is expected for you there either. So for the most part, for Duncan, I mean, pretty much your threat for any sort of severe weather, excessive rainfall is pretty much 0 compared to the other 3, Philadelphia, Raleigh, and then San Antonio. But that's it for those 4. What about what's going on throughout the entire U.S.? Heavy to excessive rainfall Wednesday may bring areas of flash and urban flooding over portions of the Ohio and Tennessee valleys. In Arizona and New Mexico, heavy to excessive rainfall from monsoon thunderstorms may bring isolated flash and urban flooding Thursday into Saturday. 2 tropical waves in the Atlantic are being monitored for tropical cyclone formation within the next few days. And so, a lot's going on. And that will also bring as well freezing conditions over there down in southern Wyoming, as well as some frost that will also occur in southern Colorado, and then maybe with some dense fog that will occur in northeastern Minnesota and northwestern Wisconsin. That, and then also we'll have some beach hazard statements out over there from Chicago all the way up into southeastern Wisconsin. So some stuff going on over there as well. And that's pretty much going to wrap this up. Top fans for tonight. Mr. Chris is at number 1, Ethan's at number 2, and then Terrell is at number 3. Congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans for tonight. If you want to be a part of the top fans, you can. You have to be subscribed to the channel, and you have to be here early and be active inside of the chat. Okay, I just read Mr. Chris comment. He said that he mistyped that earlier. That's no problem at all. No problem at all. But that's all that I have. Again, if you have not hit the subscribe button yet, go on and do so. It's free. You can change your mind at any single time. We have 585 subscribers trying to get to 600. 15 away from that main goal. Share with all the people that you know. Share with all of the people that you know. Because if the more that you share it, the more, the better that the content will get, and obviously, the more support that will be here. So that would be fantastic. And then overall, that is all that I have. So I will be back tomorrow morning with your Wednesday morning forecast update. Everyone have a fantastic rest of their Tuesday evening.
Thank you.